What is good, team? So this is the single arm lat focused cable row with a bench support. Now for this one, the setup is you're going to take a bench, you're going to wheel it towards a cable stack, and ideally what I like to think of with this is having the bench set up so that it's not completely upright, because when you're in position, you'll find your hand will hit the bench if it's completely upright. You also don't want it too far forwards, otherwise you're not going to get the most out of the movement because you can't make yourself stable. The whole point of having the bench here is so that when you're rowing, you can put your hand against it and create the stablest environment that you can. So I found 1 to potentially 2 clicks back tends to be the best for this. Then you want the cable stack set up right to the top here with a D handle on. You're simply going to grab it with the hand that you're going to work. I like to take 2 as you begin to load up, pull it down so you're in position. Then you take the opposing hand and put it against the bench. So you can see why here, if I had it really upright, my hand would probably hit the bench, whereas if it was too far, I'll be almost leaning into it. So you want to have the opposing hand on top, against the side, whatever's comfortable for you to make yourself stable. I personally like to just put my hand on the top, and then what I like to think of as well is the side that I'm working, I typically put that front foot a little bit forward just to prevent myself from rotating as much, because a lot of people when they do any form of row, specifically this one, is they'll kind of twist into it and they'll twist away and they'll kind of rotate the torso like this. You want to try and keep that torso as stable as you can. That's the whole point of the movement. So hand on here, foot against it, this other foot flat firmly on the floor as well. Then you're going to extend that arm and stretch the lat. Now you don't want to fully protract the lat like this because you will lose a bit of tension off it. What I like to think of is keeping this torso stable and go as far as around about here until I'm kind of fully pushing that arm outwards and getting a nice deep stretch on the lat. Then as you're coming down, keeping that torso nice and fixed, think about driving this elbow into a back pocket here and really bringing it in nice and tight, squeezing. You can also give yourself a little bit of a crunch as you do it as well, and you'll really feel that lat light up. But one of the key things here when you're doing the movement is as you're pulling it down, you don't want to pull it too close to the body because it'll bring in a lot of the bicep and you'll not get much lat. You also don't want to be pulling it like this because you'll find you'll get a lot of rear delt and triceps. So you want to almost have the wrist, the forearm, the elbow in line with each other with the direction of pull, pulling with that elbow into that back pocket and squeezing. You don't want to go too far back, so you're just going to bring the rear delt in. You want to stop at around about the hip, bring it forward, fully stretch that lat. Not too far, remember, so just enough to get a good stretch on the lat. Drive that elbow into the hip. Drive that elbow into the hip. And a bonus tip here, what I like to do is internally rotate towards the movement as well. That way you're just kind of in a more stretched position as you come to the top, and then squeeze. Squeeze. And that is the single arm lat focused cable row.